It was just supposed to be a normal day, but turned out not to be the case pretty fast. But I guess that's how strokes happen. August 2nd, 2019, I woke up to find I was having a stroke. Back then, this barn looked a whole lot different. There was no horses in here anymore. All there was is, in this first stall behind me, is I had gotten some chickens, about a dozen or so. I got up that morning, just like any morning, went to the bathroom. It felt weird. I was stumbling in that. I thought maybe I was just tired. Or, I have other problems, gut problems, and other things that make me feel funny here and there. I thought, well, maybe it was something to do with some of that or something. I went and laid back down. I fell back asleep. Also that morning, my youngest son was bringing my oldest granddaughter up from Pennsylvania, and I was going to watch her for a little while that morning. Then my wife would be home and take over after that. So when I woke up the second time, I knew I was late at that point. It was like 7 o'clock. Everybody was gone. Just me and the kid was there. Really was weird, and I don't know. I didn't know I was having anything serious going on. I almost felt drunk or like severely stoned, or I don't know, something like that. But no, that's not what it was. So yeah, after I stumbled out to the kitchen and that, feeling all wonky, I managed to ping pong my way out to the chickens, which were going crazy because I normally fed them at 6 and let them out. They were free range chickens. But I managed to ping pong my way out there, bouncing off of things. Really, we just felt weird. Whatever. Went out and did what I had to do with them. And then came back in and just collapsed in my bed. At that point, I was starting to get dizzy. Things were spinning. I was getting really nauseous feeling. And like almost, I don't know, it's almost shaky, but not. It was weird. At that point, I knew I couldn't take care of I think she was like 3 at the time. I called my wife. She called my son, and they both did everything they could do to get home. As soon as they came home, I don't really remember a whole lot of that. I do remember talking to them. I don't remember what I was saying, what was said. I remember my youngest son having to all but carry me out to the car. I was walking, but not very well. He was able to support my weight easily just by putting his arm under my arm and got me there. And then when they got me to the hospital, my wife pulled up out front in the emergency room area there. Went in and got nurses, and they came out with a wheelchair. And then when I was in, my wife was trying to tell them what was going on. I was like, I'm gonna puke. I need something to puke in. And strange thing is somehow a hospital at the front desk doesn't have anything to handle a situation such as somebody puking. But I did, and puked all over the floor there. At that point, they decided, hey, you might be a priority. We'll get you in first. And that started a very long day of laying in an emergency room and being dragged out and poked and prodded and constant testing and all that. I want to say I was there probably 4 or 5 hours or more before they told me I had a stroke. But it wasn't that I had one stroke, which was what I was experiencing currently. But that was only the worst of them. Come to find out from all the scans they did in that, they found that I had been having strokes for probably a year or more, and had what they said is multiple uncountable. So a lot of mini strokes. I never knew it. Never dawned on me. Looking back now, I think I do know. I used to get half my face would go numb. Literally, right down the middle of it just go numb. This whole side of my face would just go numb. And then, I don't know, seemed like if I moved my neck right or something, twisted, it would go away. So I was like, all right, it must just pinched a nerve or something. So yeah, I remember a bunch of times that happening, but I never really thought anything of it. I'm guessing that was probably when they were occurring. So then I'm in a smaller city here. Where I actually live is actually rural, but there's a smaller city right over the mountain, over the hill over there. They decided to, they couldn't handle me because it was a Saturday or Sunday, and they didn't have any technicians working for certain machines or something. So I spent the rest of the day until nighttime sometime. I want to say like 8 o'clock, 7, 8 o'clock. And mind you, we had gotten there like, 8 o'clock in the morning. And they transferred me to the big city, Albany Med, which is just over my shoulder a little ways here. They transferred me there because they were ready to, weren't able to handle me on the weekend. Strange, but okay. So I got there, and they laid me in a hospital bed for a long time until they got me a room. Well, I shouldn't say room. They put me in intensive care unit for stroke patients and the such, but it's a special intensive care unit. I believe there was 6 people in there. That's about all I remember of that day that it happened. After that, it's kind of a blur of doctors and nurses and all kinds of other activity for a while until I started coming out of the fog. I still wasn't in the fog. I still wasn't doing well at that point. I had to keep one eye closed, though I would get nauseous and dizzy, and I couldn't walk to the bathroom even. I couldn't do anything. So I had to wear a patch on one of my eyes. I don't remember. I want to say it was this eye, my right eye. But slowly things got better, and I started understanding more. Basically, they couldn't pinpoint any one thing that had caused it because there was so much going on. At that point in time, I had an abscessed tooth infection, out of control high blood pressure, uncontrolled cholesterol, uncontrolled diabetes. I have a couple things wrong with my heart itself. I have COPD, and I think that's it. Like that's not enough already. But as the days went by, I was there about a week, maybe a little more, maybe 8, 9 days, maybe 10 days. I'm not really sure. Again, that was all kind of a blur to me. But they got me on medications and that, got me set up, and I started doing better, and they sent me home. So when I was finally released, I got back home to this piece of property that I love. This is my oasis, my happy place. Sitting here on the back porch looking out, or sitting on the picnic table. I just spend hours looking out at the view out there, which to a lot of people isn't much, but to me it's special. They don't really tell you exactly what to expect or what you're going to deal with or anything like that. They just kind of cut you loose. You're good enough to go home. Come to find out, I would, and it comes with the strokes, I was pretty badly depressed and anxious, highly anxious about everything. I have a slight anxiety problem that's been coming on over the years, but with the stroke, it came on hard. But every little thing where I didn't feel quite right, whatever, I panicked, and I don't know. We went to the emergency room, I don't know, I want to say 3-4 times, and they do a scan and check me, and everything's good, whatever. Hit me with the great news that, well, hey, if you have another one, it's not a big deal, we can't really do nothing. Well, oh great. I mean, it was nice to know that, honestly. It kind of took a little off it of like, okay, well, then what's the point of going to the hospital? There's nothing they can do. After that, I got darker and deeper into depression. Started fighting thoughts that I didn't like, and I'm not somebody who's ever had those kind of thoughts. I did one day. And my wife, I knew my son was out of town somewhere. I almost want to say he was in Pennsylvania, something. My other son was working. He's a tractor trailer mechanic, fleet service. He doesn't really have, can't really just take off. I knew my wife was at a meeting a good distance away from here. So I did all I could do. My brain kept going, just bad thoughts. And I was scared. I was very scared. Not that this whole thing wasn't scary in the first place, but even more so scary. And I panicked. I ended up calling my parents, calling my mom and dad, and they came from a good clip away, about 20 minutes away, 25 minutes away, I think is where they live for me. And I was sitting here on the back porch in tears. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who was in control of me. I didn't know. I just knew it was all bad. I knew I never had thought like this before, and I knew I needed help. Little did I know, after my parents took me down to the emergency room, they were no help. They ended up sending, the doctors checked me out physically. I was fine physically. And I knew that it was my head that was screwed up. And they sent this kid, who was probably 18 years old, or if that, probably some intern or from the local VOTEC program or something. But she was really young, asking a bunch of stupid questions. Did you have a plan? Sweetheart, I live in rural America. My closest friends are fucking wildlife. I have pictures of all kinds of crazy wildlife all over my property. From bobcats to bears, you name it. The plan isn't really needed. I walk into my room, I get my gun, I put a bullet in, I end it. Period. What fucking plan? Most asinine thing. But anyway, I ended up, because my sister is a nurse at that hospital, she, the psychiatrist or whatever they have there, refused to prescribe anything to help me out. Said, hey, if you have any more, thoughts, come on back. Or, hey, you call us. Yeah, that was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Not a lot of faith in our medical system in the start, and I definitely don't have any faith in the psychiatry part of it. But anyway, I did end up getting a prescription, got it bumped up a couple times. Pulled mostly out of it, but I've still been in a depressive state for a while, although I have managed to fight back in many ways. So I don't have the really bad thoughts anymore. I fight to have purpose. I fight to have worth. It's better by far than it was, but it's been a process, and I was still fighting it. And on other fronts, I was doing well. I was, got my food issues switched around, so I was eating better and not eating garbage all the time. I got rid of a lot of the salt and a lot of the sugars and carbs, and started losing weight. But the mental has still been a process. So it's been a constant search to find I guess to find me, to find who I am now. I hope that this journey that I'm on, this path, is going to show me where I am now, what I can accomplish. Give me a sense of me. I mean, I can't work on cars anymore, so that was my identity for so long. So I've got to search to find where I am. I don't know. I'm hoping that this whole process helps find that. But overall, I'm doing better. This is just the next step in doing amazingly better, I hope. As you'll find out, part of my journey and my path is learning the teachings of Buddha. I'll get into that another time. But also, I'm growing things now, cannabis, aloe vera plants. I've got a propeller plant that I'm working with. I have the worms, obviously. I find them fun and an interesting thing, and a lot more things. So, yeah, that's my story. That's what brings me here today. Trying to pull back, trying to, after all this time of being in a funk, being in a stalled spot, I'm trying to get my shit together and battle back once and for all. It has been a strong, hard battle, and I know I'm not I still got several residual things left over from the stroke and other things that popped up. But overall, my medical health is in amazing shape now, all except for my heart. I at some point will be doing some heart work. But my diabetes is awesomely controlled, way on the good side. Cholesterol's good. Blood pressure is outstanding. I haven't smoked since that day. I hope you guys join me on my path and find something I do interesting. But even if nobody watches, I'll be here because I'm learning that I kind of like playing around with that editing stuff too. So yeah, we'll see where life goes from here. Welcome to my path. See you next time.